Hey, hello. Welcome to episode number 73 of the People We Love podcast. I am Adam Choit. What's up? If you're new here, what I do is interview people from all walks of life, often comedians and other artists about their lives and careers. Casual conversation, but I also ask everyone to highlight someone they love, someone who they admire, who influenced them, inspired them, and supported them. For more, check out peoplewelovepodcast.com, and the Instagram handle is People We Love Podcast. And you can find me on Instagram as well, Adam Choit, my name, if you want to follow me too. And remember to tap subscribe or follow on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. So, today's guest is comedian Darius Culpepper. Growing up in Miami, Florida, he witnessed firsthand his dynamic grandparents, Amos and Cheryl Culpepper, leading their non-denominational church congregation. Soon enough, young Darius was speaking up there in church as well, and he quickly realized that making the crowd laugh was a powerful thing. He found himself pursuing stand-up comedy shortly thereafter, and eventually was rising up through the ranks in the Miami comedy scene. And this all led him to Los Angeles. And we cover it all. Let's just get started with Darius Culpepper. So it's good to see you today, Darius Culpepper.
Yes, sir.
How you hanging in there?
Oh man, not doing too bad.
We're already getting into the family history, like right off the bat, telling me about your last name and all that.
It was cool. I would say around like 2004, 2005. Those were the years that my cousin Darius Culpepper, the football player, those were like his best seasons. So being a kid in school at that time, it really helped like people flock to you, knowing that you had the same last name as somebody that's on the cover of like Mad in 2004, so it's like, it was pretty cool.
What do you remember from even earlier? Because we were talking a little bit before we started recording about like how you spoke in church and whatnot. Do you have memories from that, from like even before kindergarten or whatever, like age, like super young?
I mean, yeah, it wasn't so much like being super young and like speaking in church. It was a lot of just kind of seeing what my grandparents did, seeing them be on stage, and it just kind of led me to believe that it was a normal thing to do. Like it was normal to be comfortable speaking in front of a bunch of people. And so I grew up not really having a fear of public speaking and not really having a fear of, talking in front of large groups of people, because it was really all that I knew growing up. And then, like I said, once I got like 9, 10 years old, they were just kind of throwing me up there, and I liked it. And I liked it for the reason of whenever I would throw in like something humorous or say something that I thought was funny, people would laugh at it. And then I was like, man, that's a good feeling. I think I like that type of energy. And as I got older, maybe like 20, 21 years old, I was like, hey, I have to do comedy, because the way that I feel when people laugh, like that's a feeling that is almost incomparable to anything I've felt before.
That's quite a story. We can even go back earlier. I was going to ask like about your grandparents a little bit. Amos and Cheryl Culpepper.
Yeah.
And what do you remember about what they were saying and how they were saying it?
Man, well, the thing about because I grew up in a very like predominantly Black church, and growing up in that type of church, it's very entertaining. Black people just have an innate ability to make anything they touch entertaining, and religion and spirituality is no different. So watching them speak on stage in the sort of dynamic manner that they spoke, just talking about the importance of having faith in God and the importance of, trying to live a life that is as close to like Christ consciousness as possible. Watching them talk about that and watching the reaction that it elicited out of people, even at a young age, I knew that like, yo, this is this is dope as fuck. Like
The power of public speaking more than anything.
the power, yeah, the power of public speaking. I knew that it was dope as fuck, and then I knew that like, this might even sound a little weird. It's just kind of like I knew that like God gives people gifts, and it's like, and I feel like if God really is giving you a gift and put it inside of you, then it's hard for people not to notice that there's a gift within you. And I could clearly see like what their gift was. And, for me, I just kind of feel like, God has given me a gift of being able to public speak, being able to tell jokes, being able to make people feel a certain way about the words that I say. And honestly, it just all started. It all started in the church, watching my grandparents talk about God in an extremely passionate manner, and it's not to say that every time I get on stage, I always say the right thing, because don't. I don't always say the right thing.
Yeah.
I'm on stage, and I oftentimes would say things that my grandparents probably wouldn't be proud of.
Yeah.
But I feel like they would appreciate the intent of everything that I say, because everything that I say it's coming from my heart, and I'm also doing it in the vein of me not wasting the gift that God has given me.
Yeah.
And
I follow.
Yeah, so it's just like, being in church at that early of an age and seeing them do that, it just kind of made me feel like, yo, like that's dope. And I feel like I feel like I want to do that. I feel like I want to public speak and elicit those reactions out of people.
And it sounds like you've always felt this way. Like this is pretty much has the way you've been for 99% of your life or something like that. Basically, obviously you have ups and downs in life, but like,
yeah, totally.
But is that's how kind of you've been, or have you had like?
I mean, no, there's definitely been ups and downs, but at the same time, I kind of always knew that I wanted to be some type of entertainer. Like I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that I didn't want to be quote unquote regular. I didn't want to just kind of go to a job, clock in, clock out, and then that just be me. It's like I knew that I wanted to just kind of do something that utilized, all of the talents that I feel as though I have.
I hear you.
So yeah, man. So that's kind of where it's at with me, and that's kind of where it started.
What branch of Christianity or whatever what was it? The sect?
It was non-denominational. Yeah, it was non-denominational.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, man. So it was kind of like it wasn't really tied to any sort of specific code of conduct or any type of specific rules. It was very like inclusive. So that was one of the things that kind of was one of the things that made it resonate with me,
Is it still around, this church?
Yeah. The church is still around. They're still going strong. Actually, they have church in the parking lot now. With the pandemic going on, they're not letting that stop them.
So your grandparents are how old?
They're in their 70s. They're in their mid 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're in their mid 70s, and man, they still kicking, and they're truly an inspiration to me.
Where's the church?
The church is in Florida. It's in Florida near Miami. So yeah, that's where they at.
So it's gonna be hard for me to get there and check it out.
Yeah.
I'd like to check it out.
Bruh, yeah. Trust me, like it's an experience.
For sure. It sounds like it.
Yeah, man. And they characters.
Do people from other religions and who are like even non-religious people or whatever, who atheists, any people like, who are not like churchgoers, make go in there and visit or check it out, or become converted or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, man. They've definitely had a few people of different religions or people who are atheists kind of come through and fellowship and break bread. And it's always been a place that people who may not necessarily have the same sort of beliefs as them. It's always been a place where they other people of other sort of opinions have felt welcome because it's a very inclusive place. Even I'll tell you this story. There's a mural on the wall of the church, and the mural is basically the hands of God and a bunch of different people in his hands. And when the artist came, the artist wanted to paint God's hands black. Because I mean, I guess the artist was assuming like, yo, it's a black church. I'm sure they think God is black. And then, it's because, it's the churches in the hood. So it's like, yeah, they think God is black, right? And so, my grandparents were just like, nah, like just paint his hands clear because like we want people to know that like, yeah, you might see a bunch of black faces in here, but this church is welcome to everybody, all
Smart.
colors, creeds, and sexualities, So it's really a place for everybody. And it's my grandparents, they're people that stand very firm on their beliefs and what they think is wrong and what they think is right. But above all, they just believe that like everybody deserves love, like no matter like who you are, what you believe. Like if you want to come check us out, hey, check us out, and we'll fuck with you and we'll welcome you with open arms.
This sounds like an amazing church and amazing grandparents. Like, wow, like the leadership skills. I even heard some marketing skills in there. Some good, like, they're thinking the way they, not, I guess promoter. It's not promoter sell, but you know what I mean. The way they just, they're public. The impression they make on the public, they're aware of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They're conscious of it, so they're able to express what they want to express.
No, totally.
That's cool.
Totally. Yeah.
And so, do you grew up going to school and were your friends like part of church? I feel like because like religion is kind of almost like frowned upon in modern society to some degree, especially in Los Angeles. So do you get a lot of people rolling their eyes at you when you tell them you're so into this has been such a part of your life? Because most people are like, blah, there's no God, all this stuff.
I mean, yeah, people in Los Angeles, they pretty much open with that. They just be like, hey, my name is Eric. I don't think God is real. My favorite color is blue. And that's just pretty much how people do things out here. But for me, I was kind of always the type of person like where, when I'm on stage, I'm giving you my life and my story. So, God is just, he's just gonna come up regardless. But in regular life, I just kind of really, I don't even bring it up unless somebody asks me.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So like I'm not like out here like, hey, yo, I believe in God, I'm perfect, I'm going to heaven, and you're not, because it's like I'm not a person that ever wants to try to like project a sort of perfection persona upon people, because it's like you'll see me on stage and you can hear me say some like super outlandish things, and it's just kind of like, hey, like I'm a person that promotes like that we're all human and we all make mistakes, and it's like, and there's the only person that can really judge us is God. So I don't really cast judgments on people, but I will say that like a lot of people, once they hear like, I believe in God, they just kind of look at me like, yo, that's the weirdest thing. And I have this thing that I say on stage where I'm just kind of like, most of the people in LA are atheists, and most of them are white, And I think the reason why most white people are atheists is because they know most black people are Christians and they not trying to be in heaven with a billion niggas. And it's like because religion and God is like so tied to the black community, it's just kind of something that's like been like a foregone conclusion like within our community, because like historically black people have just always been the most disenfranchised of all of the people. So we kind of just needed something to believe in because the world was so hopeless. And it's just
Right.
like, hey, like we needed something to cling to give us hope. And now in 2020, it's just kind of like the spiritual principles, they resonate with my soul, and it's like that's why I believe, but it's a personal thing. I don't knock people that don't believe, but it's just like I know why I believe, and that's enough for me.
That's cool. You mumble when you go off stage, you guys are all going to hell and I'm going to heaven. You mumble that as you.
Bro, nah, like
you have to use that phrase on stage. I feel like you have to just sneak it in there. You go through this whole thing where it's like, I love everyone, blah 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 blah. I love God. It's okay if you don't. And then at the end you kind of just mumble. You guys are all going to hell.
Bro, my whole thing is just like, yo, like heaven. I feel like heaven would be dope, man. Like why would people want to go? Like Tupac is there. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like,
if it exists, I prefer to go there.
Right? Yeah. Like, come on, man. There will be entertainment every day. All those black people. Come on, man. Yeah.
I'll visit the church. That'll be my goal. You always need one Jew in there, just sitting, just hanging out. I won't be on my phone. I'll be paying attention. I'll be present.
Same, man.
It'll be all good. What about like your friends? Were they all part of the church as well? Growing up?
Growing up, I had some friends that were, and I kind of had some friends that weren't. The community was weird like that. There was a group of kids that they either went to church a lot, or there was a group of kids that kind of were a part of gangs, or they sold drugs.
This is in Miami?
Yeah, this is in Miami, and that was kind of the life that they lived. And it's like I managed to walk in between both worlds and befriend both groups of people. So yeah, but it was the divide like that. Some parents knew that they had to keep their kids in church in order to keep them from doing everything else that might have not been so positive, And then there was another group of parents that like couldn't go to church because they had to work at night, and their kids are pretty much looking after themselves, and now their kids belong to the streets because there's nobody around to really guide them. So, it was just kind of, there was that divide, and I was able to just kind of walk in between both worlds in that respect.
So when did you actually come to Los Angeles? Because you're in LA right now.
Yeah. I'm in LA. I came out here like 2 years ago.
So you spent most of your life and early adult life in Miami.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I spent most of my adult life there. Came here 2 years ago, and I've been doing comedy like going on 8 years.
Yeah, so tell me about how you got started, like when did speaking in church and that all transition or become, into comedy?
Yeah, I got to a point where I don't know, there was something inside of me where I was like, okay, I need to be up, and I need to be speaking to a lot of people. I feel like I have something to say, and I want to put my perspective out there in a creative manner. So initially, before even thinking about doing comedy, I had wrote a play that I wanted to do in church, and I wanted to be a part of the play, and I wanted to have a few of the other people in church be a part of the play, and it was
that's awesome.
It was, I mean, it was provocative, the play was provocative and maybe too provocative for the church. But to me, it was provocative in the best way, and just that I just wanted to provoke people to think. And I let some of the people in the church read the play that I wanted to be a part of it, and they were just like, "Nah, I'm not saying any of those words." And
yeah, I guess it had some colorful language in it. Was that what made it? Was it the themes, or was it the colorful language? Was it sexual stuff? Was it stuff that challenged the church? Was it all of those things?
Yeah, it was the themes. Yeah, it was the themes, and there was definitely some things in there that challenged the church. But I felt like it was good. I felt like the church, from where I saw it, I felt like it could handle the challenge, but I felt like it still needed a challenge nonetheless. Because I feel like it's healthy. I feel like it's healthy, the challenge.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, was it ever performed? So it was never performed?
It was never performed. So basically, I let one of the ladies read it that I wanted to star in the play, and she was just like, "Yeah, nah, there's no way in heaven or hell that I would say any of these words on stage." And I was just like, "Damn!" It's like, but I still have this in me. I still want to perform. I still want to be on stage. So I said, "All right, fuck the play. I'm going to look up some like comedy open mics to see if I can do some comedy," because I needed to just kind of get on stage, and I just needed to kind of satiate that hunger. So, I got online and I saw there was an ad for an open mic. It was on a Thursday, and I had to Thursdays. There's also church. There's a Bible study nights are on Thursdays, so I had to lie to my grandparents about where I was going to be on Thursday in order to be able to go to that open mic. And I went to the open mic, had a pretty good set, and as soon as the lights hit me, I was just like, "Yeah, I just want to keep doing this for as long as possible."
Yeah, you were comfortable speaking.
Yeah, man.
You had a background in it.
Yeah. Life sort of groomed me and prepared me for the comedy stage.
What do you remember about anything specific about that first open mic that you talked about?
I talked about one of the first jokes I did that just kind of stood out. It was just like about, white people and their love for dogs. It's like it's a thought and an idea that you hear often today, but at the time it was it was something that I felt like just really needed to be said, because I
feel you.
So that was one of the things I talked about, and I just remember feeling it was, if you've been to enough open mics, you know that there's sometimes a very hopeless feeling of like despair. But at this particular open mic, it was a hopeful feeling of like love, and I felt really embraced, and I just felt like, yo, this could really be something. It was just, the night was just beautiful. All of the elements were like perfectly orchestrated in order for me to have like a good set, because like it was good. Like it wasn't like super crazy or anything like that. It was just good. But for a kid that never been on stage before,
right, not doing it
good. I'll take that. Like I'll take that. So it was, it was beautiful, man. I had my cousins there with me, and it was lovely. That's a night that I will always look back on fondly.
How many people were there? Like, were you heard you do your set?
It was maybe about 25, 30 people altogether.
That's enough. Yeah, that's a room full of people.
Yeah, and that was definitely enough. And for it to be something that I had never done before, in terms of like doing actual comedy, it was beautiful, man. And I'm glad that I'm glad the first time went as well as it did, because to be a young kid, you know, you need to have like at least an inkling of confidence to continue to pursue this like
Right.
deal, you know.
How'd it go the second time?
Okay, the second time I bombed. And,
Why does it always happen? I talk to a
right?
lot of comedians. The first, because you have support and everyone always knows it's your first time. That catches wind through the room, so people want to be supportive. But then the second time, it's like, all right,
The second time it's a gut check. Go ahead.
Just seems to be the case.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It was definitely something that really it was humbling. It was definitely humbling, and to just kind of to go back to that same place that I just did well at, and to go back the next week, and now it's only like 10 people there, and now it's not a feeling of hopefulness. Now it's kind of a feeling of just like despair again, and it feels like just it's haunted by negativity, and to be able to stand, it's kind of stressful to have to stand in that, and it just kind of be like, well, damn, can I do this? Like, is this something that I'm sure I still want to do? But I just kind of understood like early on that like it's, you know, comedy is like boxing. It's like if you can't be a boxer if you don't want to get hit in the face.
Yeah.
And comedy is the same way. It's like you got to bomb. You have to develop that thick, tough skin, because it's like the more you bomb, like the stronger you become, because you start to care less about it. And a comedian that doesn't care about bombing, that's a comedian that is extremely dangerous. Like, he can really kill a show, and I mean kill in a positive way.
Yeah. No, I feel what you mean, because watching comedians live, when they bomb, if you see them getting uncomfortable, you get uncomfortable, and that's like that's like not what you're there for. Like, you want to like, I want to feel like comfortable, like like my friend is up there or some shit.
All right, exactly. No, and it's true, because I mean, the relationship between the comedian and the audience, it's a very like symbiotic relationship, and it's like they'll feel what you feel, and if you're feeling good, and if you're in your zone and you're in your flow, like they're gonna ride that wave with you, and they want to feel good with you, and it can be the same way when things happen negative. It's just, you know, you just have to just pretty much stay on your square and continue to play your game.
Yeah, if a joke doesn't go well, it's always interesting to see how the comedian reacts to it. Sometimes that could be funnier. That's often funnier than maybe what the joke would have been, or equally as funny, or its own surprise.
Man, bro, because it can go like such a variety of ways. It's like sometimes a joke doesn't work, and you acknowledge that it doesn't work, and the people, they'll laugh with you because they can kind of feel like the tension and the unease. But then there's sometimes the joke doesn't work, you acknowledge it, and the people are still like, all right, well, what else you got? Like, you know, so it's tough, man. And it's like, starting comedy in Miami, it was very much that way, because it's like in Miami, like the last thing people are trying to do is just sit still in a comedy club
indoors. Yeah,
exactly. That's the last thing, man, because there's so much to do out there. So much, from so many drugs, so many beaches, so many women, so many clubs, so much good food. It's like the last thing they want to do is sit and watch you tell your jokes that you think are funny. So,
oh no. I don't want that job, and I don't want it in that city for that scene. People talk about other challenges in other cities. Oh, Boston, the crowds are tough, whatever. But like Miami, you have a whole different set of challenges.
Bro, man, yes, it is so different, bro. Because it's like the people that are sitting out in the crowd watching you, they feel like they have better things to do. So you have to, if you're gonna hit them, you got to hit them hard, and you got to hit them quick, and you got to let them know, like, yo, I'm here to make y'all laugh. I'm here to deliver a great show. and that has to be done very quickly because
Yeah, no doubt.
you don't get a lot of time. You don't get a lot of time in Miami, not at all.
Their attention. How long was the first set that you did? Was that 3 minutes, 5 minutes?
Yeah, it was a 5 minute set. It was a 5 minute set, and
That's cool.
I remember I had it all written out. I knew what I was gonna say, and I felt good about it. I was confident. I studied so many like great comedians like the Dave Chappelle's and the Chris Rocks, and it's like I just felt like, okay, I'm ready. I've studied. I feel like I kind of sort of have a grasp of what this is, even though I didn't.
Yeah.
I just thought I did,
Yeah.
and like I said, the first time, the fact that it went well, it helped build the confidence, and it helped build the confidence that I needed to kind of continue. Because if the first time didn't go well, like I don't know if I jump back up there. Like I don't know how the story goes.
I think you would have.
Yeah.
I feel like you probably would have, just based on everything we've talked about. It's my gut thought, initial thought is that you would. Tell me more about just like your journey in comedy, in Miami. I guess you just decided to pursue this. It sounds like you dove in pretty hardcore. You probably went to a lot of open mics as much writing.
Yeah, man. I definitely did. I just kept at it, like wherever there was a comedy show going on or a comedy open mic, I tried to make sure that I was there. And I kind of when I started coming up in comedy, it was in the darkest, sort of weirdest comedy rooms around, and you kind of could say any of the most weird, outlandish shit you could think of. And so I kind of came up in like the underground, like weirdo, like white people comedy scene of Miami. That's how I came up.
Miami's alt scene. Is that what
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah. There is one. You're the one person. You're the person who knows about it.
Yeah, essentially that's pretty much what it was, and they just wanted to hear the most like weirdest, offensive shit possible. So I pretty much for a little while I was delivering that, and it was cool and it was fun. But then I started like making a transition to like the scene that was like predominantly black, and then I discovered that like they didn't want to hear none of that shit. So it was an education for me, because I went into it sort of foolishly, because I remember I was performing at this nightclub called Cafe Iguanas, and it was like mostly black people and Latin people there. So I was just like, yo, it's mostly black people here. Like, these are my people. I'm gonna kill. It's awesome. It's gonna be amazing. Like, I get up there, and for like 2-3 minutes straight, like it's just like it's no reaction. And then it gets to a point where like it went so bad that the people didn't even boo me. They all just started saying curse words at me in unison. And it's like,
Wow.
yeah, like in unison, like the whole crowd. And it had to be at least 300, 400 people in this
Whoa.
nightclub. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Is it because they saw you as an outsider? Is that what it was? And they just chose not to laugh? You didn't connect with them?
I definitely didn't connect with them, and I think that they felt that I was trying to fit in with them, and I was trying to pander,
Yeah.
and I because I assumed like, okay, this is probably what they want to hear, so like I tried to pander.
Oh.
And then when that didn't work, I just went back to what I usually said,
But
and
it's
then
too
that
late.
didn't work either. And
Yeah.
then they were just like, nah, we don't fuck with you at all. And it was just like, I literally almost like incited a riot there.
Yeah.
And,
That's very traumatic. Wow.
bruh,
That's like my worst nightmare.
bro.
I'm not a comedian. I'm not a stand-up comedian, but like that. But those stories like that is the reasons why I don't even want to even think about trying it or getting involved
No,
with it.
it gets crazy, man. Like it gets crazy, and like I'm walking off stage, and I just remember there was this older black lady. She was in the audience, and as I'm walking off stage, she grabbed me by the arm, and she was just like, "Well, I thought you were funny," and that to me was just like, "Oh, I know you're lying, but as a young kid." You needed that little glimmer of hope. You needed that shit.
Encouragement helps.
Yeah, no,
Encouragement is not
definitely,
bad. We need
no,
to hear validation from other people a little bit. I mean, you need a little bit.
a little bit. No, definitely a little bit helps,
We're
especially
social beings.
yeah, and like especially when you're just starting and you're a kid that really has no idea what they're doing. Like you need a little something. So it's like I appreciate that lady. She told me a very convincing lie, and yeah, I appreciated that.
Maybe that's did you? It sounds like you probably learned some kind of lesson through all of this.
Oh man,
I'm
I
guessing,
definitely.
and maybe
Oh yeah.
that's a lesson you needed to learn. I guess. Would you say? I don't know.
No, it was definitely something that needed to happen. I feel like every bad experience that I've had on like a comedy stage, it was something that needed to happen. And that one in particular, it needed to happen to just kind of show me that under no circumstances do you compromise like who you are
Yeah.
and like what it is that you bring to the table. It's like people are either gonna fuck with you or they not gonna fuck. But you don't need to try to pander to anybody because I mean
Yeah.
it's gonna be somebody out there that embraces your message. You just gotta stay true to whatever your message is.
Dude, I'm getting fired up. I'm ready to like fucking make shit happen. Are we free yet? Am I allowed out of my cage? Not yet.
Stupid,
One of these
stupid.
days. One of these days. But wow, that's quite a story. Also, like to be able to keep going because that must. I don't know. I don't know how you got through that. That's tough. But I guess you learned.
I mean, no, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it was definitely a learning experience, and just it's really I feel like with anything in life, but like especially comedy, it's like you have to embrace you because
Yeah.
people are going to either like you or they're not going to like you, but it's like at least you can know that you stay true to who you are, you know.
Authenticity.
Yeah, authenticity, because it's like I'd rather bomb for being who I am than get laughs for being something that I'm not. So it's just like do it do it your way, do it the way that is most authentic to you, and there is a group of people out there that will embrace it, and it's like I feel as though I'm living proof of that. So
Do you see less experienced comics making that same mistake and not being authentic in one form or another? And do you tell them that, or is it not your place? Or
oh my
if they
god,
ask you, how do you handle it
yeah,
when you see it? How do you
oh my
react?
gosh, bro, I see it abundantly, and it hurts my heart because it's like I respect the art and I love the art, and I feel
They might
like
have talent. These people, it's not that they might, there could be
no, and it's
talent.
like yeah, and they might have talent, and I feel like comedy is here to kind of help bring your true self, manifest your true self, like
That's a
on
journey.
stage. Yeah, and it definitely is a journey. And for me, it's not really my place to kind of just pull a comic to the side and be like, hey, come here, young buck, I got something
Yeah,
to tell you.
it's hard.
It's definitely not my place. But just like you stated earlier, it's a journey, and it's like eventually they will discover that like, hey, I need to be true to myself. And some people they'll discover it and ignore it, and some people will discover it and embrace it. But for me, I feel as though it's better and more gratifying and more fulfilling when you are being true to yourself, because you have something in you that nobody else has, and you have something in you that can help someone when they hear what your message is and what your outlook is. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah, you gotta give like Tony Robbins a run for his money. Like I'm ready to, I'm all fucking fired up to fucking make shit happen in town. But no, what about their highlights or even I guess lowlights if you want to talk about as part,
Yeah.
in the rest of your journey before you came to LA and in the Miami comedy scene, like what stands out? Obviously, you did some crazy clubs.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, man. Yeah, for me, I being in Miami, it definitely just gave me that thick skin, and it gave me the confidence that I needed to even think that I could come to LA, honestly. And when I got to LA, I just was trying to show people like, hey, I'm willing to do whatever is necessary to be on the best stages possibly here. And I used to go to the Laugh Factory open mics, and the way that it's set up is you have to pretty much sit outside at like 11 o'clock in the morning in order to get like a guaranteed spot on the open mic. And I would do that. And one time I got the guaranteed spot on the open mic. I had a good set, and they called me back to the Laugh Factory. They put me on a few shows, and then
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, and
This was like shortly after you arrived in LA.
yeah. This was shortly after I arrived here, and for me, being able to perform at the Laugh Factory, that's like just one of the most like amazing feats I feel like you can have as a young comic.
Sure.
Just standing in front of that logo is like that was my goal. Like before I even got to LA, I would watch YouTube videos of other comedians that would perform at the Laugh Factory, and I would just always say, like, "Yo, I'm going to be there one day on that stage, and they're going to be like posting videos of me." And I just kind of kept that in my head, and I just kind of kept that laser focus. And eventually, they posted one of my videos, and it got like 1 million, 2 million views on their
That's
Instagram
awesome.
page.
Yeah.
And it just, that's not why I do it, but to be able to get that sort of like acknowledgement,
It's a good sign.
yeah, no, definitely.
It's a great sign
It definitely
that you're
was.
doing the right things, these benchmarks, and you got to celebrate.
No, totally, man. And it just showed me that like you can work hard and stay true to yourself and still be acknowledged by these, powers in comedy. And it showed me that hard work does pay off, and staying true to the art can be rewarded. So
That's awesome.
yeah, man, and it warmed my heart. Like it really did. Like it warmed my heart.
How did you know it was time to what like finally made you decide to move to LA after? Like what made it the right time? Or was it
It was basically I felt as though I did everything that I could do in Florida.
Yeah.
I felt like the glass ceiling in Florida was very low, and I felt like hey, like I'm talented enough. I feel like I can go to LA and really make something of myself. I didn't want to just be Florida funny. I wanted to be funny to the world, and I
That's
feel like
awesome.
LA is the world, and here we are.
What are some of the biggest challenges of, I guess, even comparing? I guess nothing's going to compare to Miami. That just sounds like it's its own unique thing. But
Yeah,
like, what have you seen that's bit different in the LA comedy scene and world within the last couple of years?
I honestly, I just think that the difference is that there's more of an appreciation for comedy here. To be honest with you, you had the Laugh Factory, you had the Comedy Store, and it's just like there's a rich history like of comedy that is like weaved within the fabric of like LA, and I just think that the appreciation here is just so evident
For the craft and for the entertainment value of stand-up comedy and comedy.
Yeah.
It's always been there for sure.
Yeah, so it's beautiful to be in this type of place, and to be trying to thrive here, somewhere that respects the art like just as much as you respect it. So to me, that's one of the major differences as opposed to being in Miami.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's funny to think about how like, oh, these are just businesses in Hollywood. They're just trying to make money. They're just building for people going to see comedy shows. It just
Right,
it's not.
right.
But the people who work there and are around that world, or a lot of them, almost probably all of them love comedy. Like,
No,
does the security guard love comedy? Does everyone who works in ticket sales, everyone who's involved with the Laugh Factory is either involved as a comedian or just loves comedy on some level? Is that what it is?
yeah, it's like everyone is in the business in some type of way, like whether it be like, oh, they're a screenwriter, or oh, they're a comedian, or they're an actor. It's like everyone in some way like is in the art business,
Yeah,
and that's the thing. And then the reason why they are even working at a place like the Laugh Factory is because they want to be near the art, like they want to be close to the art, and I respect that so much, because it's like a lot of times as artists we try our damnedest to have to not get a real job just so we
of
can
course.
focus on the art. So I mean, to be able to find that balance, and working in a place with a rich history of art like a Laugh Factory or a comedy store, like I respect that a lot.
Yeah, that's everyone who I talk to. So many people I talk to are trying to find that balance between how do I survive and pay my bills and also pursue my art,
Yeah.
and my craft and do what I want to do.
Yeah.
What would you say is like your long term or short term like dreams, goals, plans? Do you want to tour the country, world? Do you want to play stadiums? Do you want to have a Netflix special? Do you want to be acting in movies? What is all of the above, or just stand up? Where do you see yourself?
Um, I think, well, first and foremost, like in terms of our goals within the art, I
Yeah,
think doing stand up comedy is like first and foremost on that list, and being able to play theaters, play stadiums, and tour across the country. That's like definitely first on the list for me,
because
and
you want to
also,
connect with people. It's about the
yeah,
connecting with the live audience and as many people as you can touch,
yeah,
I
like
guess
yeah,
in a way.
connecting with the live audience, because there's no other connection like it, and you know connecting with people through the art, like through jokes. It's, to me, like it's such a perfect union, and so yeah, so that's first on my list of just goals, and also I would love to someday have a script turned into a television show, and produced and directed by me. That's definitely another goal that is like near to my heart, and something that I'm actively pursuing.
That's
So
awesome. Were
to
you
hmm?
act? You're an actor. You act also. And would you be in it?
Yeah, yeah. I would be in it as well, and it's just because I feel like that's like a perfect vehicle for a comedian to be
Of
able to
course.
act in something that he's like thought of and created, and so that's another way that I would want to be able to like reach and touch people, like through doing a television show, and hopefully having it stream on one of the streaming services,
Sure.
or on network television. So that is something that I would love to do.
I'll
And
look out for it,
yeah,
man.
yeah, man. So hopefully that's something that's on the way. And a short-term goal is I would love to just be a part of a writer's room, to be a writer for television, for a TV show. That to me would be one of the ultimates. Whether it be like writing for a show like Blackish, or something along those lines. Just being able to be a television writer. That's another goal of mine as well.
It's all gonna happen. I think so, man.
I appreciate the confidence,
For
brother.
sure.
Appreciate that, man.
What about your grandparents? What do they think about your journey and to LA and comedy and all your goals and dreams and plans and your material?
I would say that when I first started doing comedy, I kept it a secret from my grandparents because, like, as great as they are, they're very old school, and the first thing they think about when they hear comedy, like, they think about like nightclubs and
Right.
drugs and like
All the places you were.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, all the places I was, and it's just kind of like, I kept it a secret from them for as long as I could, and then eventually when I came out of the comedy closet and told them I was a comedian, they were not necessarily thrilled about it, and they thought like, hey, maybe this is just a phase, and he'll just kind of realize he wants to do something else. But once they saw like a year pass, and then 2 years pass, and 3 years pass, and 4 years pass, and 5, they came to respect it, and then they started to support it, and they just realized like this is my life's passion, and it's a journey that I'm on, and like I have my rough times when I'm just like ready to walk away from it all, and somehow I just keep coming back, and they see that, and they respect it. So like they're just kind of like at a point of respecting it. Now, in regards to the material, they do not co-sign any of it. It does not express any of their views and opinions, and they're very quick to tell me that. But like at the end of the day, like I'm their baby, and they love me, so it's just kind of like, hey,
I was gonna say you have to do you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, hey, we don't agree with you, but we love you. So and they understand that I have to be true to my journey and what it is I'm doing with my life, and they've given me the room to do that, and it's really just love and support, and I appreciate them for that, because I would never want to change their opinion on something that they're passionate about, and honestly, they know that they couldn't change my opinion on something that I'm passionate about. So, we resonate and agree with each other in that regard.
That's cool. Well, that's quite a story. I appreciate you sharing all that with me and talking Miami and LA and grandparents and a lot of good comedy stuff, motivational speaker stuff. It's good. Why don't you tell people where they can follow you? Anything else you're working on? Anything else you want to talk about? It's fine with me. I'll give you the floor here.
All right, awesome. Well, yeah, I'm on Instagram at Think Dariuss. You can check me out on there. I honestly need to get better at doing social media, because I'm not as good at social media as I probably need to be.
It's annoying. Is that what it is? You don't. I'm the same way. Even with this podcast, I try to do the bare minimum. Enough to just at least put stuff out there.
Bro,
I do Claudio clips. I'm doing okay, but it's hard. I find that part challenging of like just promoting the self promotion.
No, yeah, the self promotion, yeah, it definitely can be a challenge, and it's something that I am not well versed at all. But it's just kind of like it's a way to put out art, so it's like I can't really buck against it too much, and I'm trying. So anybody that hears this, check me out, and you'll see a dude that's trying to.
You should hire some. I bet if you posted like, is anyone interested in doing a social media intern position or something like that? Like, and then they could put someone else in charge, outsource.
Oh man!
On a minimal budget, on a minimal to no budget.
Yeah,
even
no budget.
All interns. Well, again, I appreciate your time. That was cool to hear all those stories for sure.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you having me.
You got it. I'll let you enjoy your evening later.
All right, bro.
So there you have it. My conversation with Darius Culpepper. That was a lot of fun. I really appreciate his honesty and vulnerability. So many great Miami comedy stories and anecdotes. Darius is a funny dude. Anyway, for everything about this show, of course, head to peoplewelovepodcast.com. And I think that's about all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening. Stay healthy. Please stay safe. Thanks as always, and let's talk soon. Peace.